Now, private investigator Paul O'Sullivan returns to Parliament's ADOC committee investigating allegations of criminal infiltration, corruption and political interference in the criminal justice system. And this after he walked out last week saying that he had to catch a flight, leaving committee members stunned. SABC News reporter Bulelani Phillip has more for us on this. Bulelani, good morning to you. And of course, the third time, and hopefully it will be a charm this time for Paul O'Sullivan and, of course, for the ADOC committee. But, of course, he's coming back, one would imagine, to continue to answer the questions that the committee members have. But also Sarah Jane Trent, whose name has come up several times. She's also expected to appear.
Good morning to you, Sakina, and to the viewers at home. Perhaps maybe if I can start at this point, at the tail end of yesterday's proceedings, the chairperson of the committee, Soviet Likhanyane, did make an announcement that Mr. Paul O'Sullivan has actually sent an apology to the committee for his conduct last week of staging a walkout during the proceedings on Thursday last week. So we're going to begin on that point, really, around the astonishment of the members when he actually in what they believe was a contempt of parliament. Of course, there is still the pending criminal case that has been laid by the EFF against Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. So that is the matter that the committee members will actually, filter through as they actually question Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. What we do know is that when proceedings this morning, the evidence leader, Advocate Bongi Wemkize, will finish her evidence in chief, taking Paul O'Sullivan through his evidence in chief, and thereafter it's going to be members of the committee who are going to cross-examine him in terms of his affidavit. But there are themes that are actually, emanating from the questions that have come out of the evidence leader. And one of those is that members of parliament would be keen to understand how did Paul O'Sullivan get his permanent citizenship and later as well as becoming a naturalized South African. And they feel that a report that has been submitted by Home Affairs has actually flagged some certain discrepancies, and they would want to take him through that report by Home Affairs. And linked to that, they would say that as a person who came to South Africa under the pretext that he wants to invest in property development, how did he end up being employed in one of the state entities, which is the Airports Company South Africa, as a high-ranking official, which is a security and aviation director? Because ideally a person who is in entrepreneurship in South African terms, who is an investor, why would they seek employment in another country which is not the country of their birth? That's another issue that the members of parliament are going to be keen to take a look into. The other part that they actually want to take him through is a matter that was also deliberated quite extensively yesterday, is around the issue of the criminal charges against him that were later struck off the roll in 2017. You'll recall that the evidence of Advocate Michael Mashuga, who is a former senior state prosecutor of the NPA and was also intricately involved in that criminal case, he felt that there was sufficient evidence to criminally charge Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, but that case was actually struck off the roll. And lastly, the other issue that the members of parliament would be keen to know is that there is this thread that they will want to pursue, whether is Mr. Paul O'Sullivan an alleged foreign spy, because he's also admitted under oath that he did work for MI16 in Britain. So they would want to know whether does his business interest, does his investigation of high-profile cases, are they linked to any work that is doing for other foreign governments? And of course, for the benefit of our viewers, you can follow those proceedings on our social media pages as well as channel 404. Proceedings are expected to begin at 10 o'clock this morning. Sakina.
Well, thanks so much, Bulelani Phillip. As you heard there, 10 a.m. is when Parliament's ADOC committee will continue their work.